Yo, super short video today. I'm feeling extraordinarily tired. I think I've reached the limits of being a jerk off. So, like, I'm a jerk off, not I was. You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so I'm gonna save a demonstration of the work done for tomorrow's video. I've just continuing to work on the second level of the second act. I just wanted to quickly mention, though, a couple comments on the last video. I was talking about, what was I saying? Not liking small talk when it comes to dealing with business stuff with people. So to be clear, maybe I came off a little cold, but I was really only talking about when I don't know someone at all and they're approaching me for the first time to try to sell me on something. Like if they're offering a service or they're selling something, or if it's like the one example I gave too was like when I used to work at a studio, when somebody would send a message to me on chat because they need something from me, like in the company chat, let's say. But even there, I didn't mean someone who I'm friends with or who I talk to on some kind of a regular basis. I only meant literally someone who's been at the studio for, let's say, years, just like I have, but we're not in the same circle. Our paths have never really crossed. Like, we have no real relationship of any kind. We've maybe never even spoken to each other. But now, for whatever reason, this person needs me to do something, and so they send me a message, and they start off by saying something like, "Hey, how's it going?" or whatever. But we both know they don't care. And after this little thing that they need from me is done, we're never going to speak again, probably. And anyway, you were saying, you guys were talking about in the comments about how when you're working with someone, though, that it can be good to build rapport and that you can end up with better work if you're more, I don't know, personable and friendly with each other. And I agree with that, and that's definitely true. And for me, actually, I would say the reason why I was saying that stuff about being more skeptical of people when I work with them now is precisely because I'm a naturally very friendly and open and nice person, and I like to really get along with people and to be friends with everyone. But the issue is that's gotten me into trouble in the past because I'm so eager to like get along with everyone that I don't consider that everyone has their own motivations, especially in the context of business, right? So it got me in the past into situations of easily being taken advantage by someone who's literally trying to scam you, or ending up working with people who weren't really the best people to work with because I was so eager to be like friendly and nice instead of looking realistically at, is this someone I actually want to work with in terms of their professionalism and how they do work. But after I have decided to work with someone and I have properly vetted them as I do now, then yeah, absolutely, I agree that like you should be you should be friendly and get along with people and whatever. I'm not at all just like, I mean, I don't know, it depends on the person. Sometimes some people very much are just, wanting to stick to the work or whatever and don't care that much about chatting about things. It depends on the person, I guess, but I'm totally down to talk about anything and everything with people who I get along with and who I work well with. And yeah, it's just when it comes to actually getting the work done, it's really what it's about. It's about genuineness. I was thinking today actually that there's two kinds of there's two kinds of like fakeness usually that you get in the way that people approach you in business, at least in my experience, which is you either get the people, like in the context of a game project like the one I'm working on here, you either get the people who are like, they send you a message that is, and I'm talking again about people who you're talking to for the very first time and you don't know them, and they either send you a message that's extremely generic and shows that they know almost nothing about your project, and they very well sent you a message that could be copied and pasted to about any project, they don't really know anything about yours specifically, or the details are just so minimalistic again that they maybe glanced at it for a second and they don't actually care, but they're pretending to care and they didn't even bother to put the effort in. In which case, and that's why I was saying, I would rather they not even pretend to care. Like, just if you have a good portfolio and you're good at what you do, just show me that, because that ultimately is really what matters. And I assume someone who's good at what they do will care about taking pride in their work, even if it's a project where they're just looking to make some money. But it's not something that they personally deeply care about or whatever. On the opposite end, you have people who kind of go way too far in trying, almost like they're trying too hard to talk about how much they care about your thing. I think everyone will have their own, unless you're working on your own project, your number one interest in working for someone else, 99% of the time, it's going to be to make money. It's going to be to get jobs. As a professional, that's how people will work. You might still also genuinely find a project cool and want to work on it or whatever, but that's never going to supersede your desire to make money and to get paid, right? So when someone talks to you about your project and approaches you in a way where it's almost like they're trying to make it sound like they care more about how excited they are about your project and how cool your project is, more than they even care about making money, that's the other kind that comes off as fake, where they go into so much detail about talking about your idea or your project or whatever, that it's just not realistic. Like, this person wants to get paid, and that to me is the other kind of fakeness. And I think, not coincidentally, you can usually tell when people are being, or rather there's like a correlation between when people are being fake like this and the actual quality of their work when you look at things like their portfolio or whatever. Like, I think people do both of these two extremes because they're compensating in some way. The people who put in very little effort when sending you a message, they're probably sending that same message to 1,000 people. And then the person who puts a ton of effort in, maybe they really do care, but they're putting that like excessive trying too hard energy in because they don't have enough confidence in the quality of their work. And the people who are in the middle, I find, are the best. The ones where they might have genuine interest in your project, but it'll be like a short one line, like, yeah, your project seems really cool and I'm into it for such and such reason because I like these kinds of things. And hey, here's my portfolio and like, check it out. And here's how much I charge for this or whatever. And I don't know. And that's basically the kind of messages that I got from all the people I'm working with now. And yeah, and who I like to think I have a very good working relationship with. So anyway, I said a lot more here than I intended to say originally, but my point is I mostly just hate small talk with people who I don't just know at all, and I prefer to get to the point there. But I think once you actually have a reason to start to get to know each other after you get past that first stage, I totally agree that then you got to get to know people and everything, right? I'm sure, I think one of you also mentioned that it can be different in other cultures as well. The kinds of expectations people have about being polite and putting on a certain air. And I'm sure that's also true. There's probably like very drastically different cultures around the world for a certain game you have to play if you want to get along with people at all. I think one of the things I really dislike here in Canada is people have, at least in, I don't know, in this part of Canada, certainly in Ontario, is there's like people have a stereotype of Canadians as being really nice, but they're not really nice. They're just polite, which is not the same thing. But they can be nice, but there's a lot of like passive aggressive, people are always polite to your face, but then like talk shit about you behind your back kind of stuff going on. So I think maybe that's another reason why that kind of disingenuous pretending to be into something to try to sell someone something pisses me off even more. But yeah. All right, whatever. I think I said a lot more than I even intended to say. I'm extraordinarily tired. Like I said, I think I pushed myself to the limit here on being ridiculous in how I've been living for the past week or so. So today I managed to, there was a few days there where I even wasn't hitting the gym, which is extremely unusual for me. So today I hit the gym again, and I think hitting that always kind of, it's like hitting the reset button on my schedule, and my whole body just feels sort of wrecked now. So I'm gonna pass out and let's see what happens tomorrow. Peace.